Hello everyone, in today's video we will set up mining as a way of gathering resources. This will be a start to finish setup, including models and animations. Resource gathering is a popular game mechanic in many RPG type games, and it's good to have a look at how this can be done with Game Creator. In order to create this we will need Unity and the inventory module. Before we dive in though, I would like to thank all of my Patreon supporters. You're all amazing and I definitely did not expect this type of support. Thank you. So in order to set this up, you will need a really simple scene. So you will need a plane and a player. What we'll also be needing are these sprites. So this first image, the second one, and these free animations. Because we'll be using this for, well, pickaxing. If you already have animations, that's absolutely great as well. Now I've put all of those in the description, so just go ahead and download those and we'll get started. So first thing I'm going to do is we are going to set up these items in our preferences for the inventory module. So the easiest way to do this is duplicate flowers, because our iron will behave in a similar manner. So we have this sprite here for flowers. Now, if you've downloaded the correct sprites, let me see where I put them. I put them in a strange location. Here we go. So this is the iron. The name might be slightly different. We're going to put it in potions. You can create a new type if you want. I made one for materials, but then I had to adjust the UI as well. So I'll just keep it potions for now. So that's going to be the same. Price 100, that's way too much, so I'm going to do 10 here. I'm okay with the max stack. The weight will be 2 or 1, doesn't really matter that much. And the prefab, well, we're just going to remove that as we're not seeing it anyway. There we go. So that's none. So really simple. Now let's give this a name. So iron material, and well, you can change all of this just how you want. So this is not something we can equip, it's a resource, so we won't be doing anything here. And that's about it. That's iron for now. We are going to replicate what our hammer does. So I'm not really sure why I named that material as well, but that's fine. Let's duplicate this one. There we go. So now we have our place for our pickaxe. There we go, something simple. I'm pretty sure I put mine all over the place, which is a horrible idea, but yeah, there we go. Pickaxe, again, no prefab needed. Price, I'm going to do 0 here. I don't want this to be something that is of value as we're getting it for free. Weight 5, max stack 1 is all fine. So by default it's equipment and right hand. That's really good as well. And on click it won't be consumed, but it will be equipable. Now we need to make sure this is our pickaxe. And on equip, we need to make sure we're equipping the right model. Now, if you've downloaded the free animations I linked, we will also have the model. So, villager pickaxe. Now, I think we needed to set this to 90. I might be wrong here, but we'll give that a go and try it out. So on unequip, it will remove it, so we're completely okay with that, and it will attach the pickaxe. Perfect. So that's our pickaxe set up as well. Now we can close this. I'm going to do a simple trigger for unstart here. If you want to make it an object you can pick up, that's completely fine as well. So we're going to add our item here, and it's going to be our pickaxe. So on start, it will just equip it to the player. So let's try that out, see if it works. So open up our inventory and we have our pickaxe. They are perfect. Now the pickaxe is not going to be an actual weapon you can use, so I'm not setting it up as a melee item, but if you really want to do that, you obviously can. I put out a tutorial on how to combine the melee and inventory module as well. So let's call this pickaxe on start. Now this is a cheesy, easy way to do it. If you really want this to be an item that can be picked up, go ahead and do that. I'm fine with this. It's not really about creating an item here, it's about actually, well, mining. So now let me remove that. What I'm going to do here is something really simple. So this is supposed to be a mining ore. Now the model really doesn't matter for this example. What we're going to do here is we're going to make sure that once we mine, we actually change meshes. That's the whole goal. So if you have some nice meshes for something that represents iron or mining material, go ahead and use that. Just going to keep it simple here. So I'm going to add an empty and I'm going to turn these around. So this is going to be mining, or let's call this iron mine. There we go. So this is the first one. Let's disable this, and if it wasn't clear, I'm using Pro Builder for this. It's something everyone should definitely have to prototype. Really great free tool. There we go. I'm going to duplicate this one again. Let's make sure this one is disabled and we're editing the right one. So this will be even smaller. Perfect. And our last one is going to be, well, almost invisible. So in the example in the beginning of the video, I didn't have it visible at all. I want something to remain here. An empty one. There we go. Perfect. There we go. So I'm gonna go to, well, this is a wrong folder to do this, but I'm only going to use it once anyway. So I'm going to create a material here, which will be iron. And this will be a really simple, shiny, grayish material. There we go. So we can turn all of these back on, completely fine. And we'll set these as a material for all. So it's a bit shiny, a bit dark, maybe a bit too dark. Let me make it a tiny bit lighter. There we go. Now this obviously isn't about the model I just made here, but it's just to show how we're going to do this while swapping, well, basically activating different meshes to really show a procedural type of mining and not just a static model. Cool. Now this one will have a couple of things. So if you've seen the video on the chest, it will be really similar. We only want the ability to mine appear once we're actually close to it. So we don't want this to be something that can be done from a great distance. So there's a couple of things we will need to set up for that. Now the first thing here will be our triggers. So let's set these up. So I'm going to add Box Collider here first. There we go. It's a horrible location. go. Make this a bit smaller, a bit bigger. Now we move it up. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but it does what it's supposed to do. So we're going to go to other and add a marker here as well. This will be the marker our player will stand on once he starts mining. So the marker he'll move to. Perfect. Now this needs to be a trigger. And what we're going to add next is the actual triggers here. So we can collapse these. They're no longer, you no longer need to see them. So our first trigger is going to be player enter. Going to add the actions here, not to make a mess of things. Going to add another trigger for exit. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm adding an empty here, which will be the actual mining actions. There we go. And that's what we need to set active once we get inside. And disable once we go outside. Perfect. Now our mining actions will obviously be the most amount of work. This is where we're going to, well, basically add the actual mining, of course. So I'm going to add a canvas first before we really get started. So let's UI canvas. No, I'm not going to do it like that. Let's remove this one. I'm going to create an empty, that's better, and we add a canvas here. Perfect. That way it will actually be placed on top of the item instead of being placed in the normal spot. And that's what we want. We don't want to be looking all over for it. There we go. That's about right. Let's give this a name as well. So canvas start. Don't really know why start, but that's fine. Let's add an image here. And this is my usual UI pop-up look, but it's nothing special, but at least it gives an indication of what we need to do. So let's press, I'm going to use 8 like I used for the chest as well, to mine. That's fine. Going to again scale this down just for the text to actually appear a bit sharper. Make sure overflow is on, and I think 24 is fine. Yeah, press 8 to mine. Perfect. Now this is our starting canvas, which is really nice. Now we're going to duplicate our starting canvas as well. Going to drag it here, going to drag the marker inside of here, all grouped together, and I want this canvas start to be canvas end, and canvas end will simply be depleted. Perfect. Can disable that. All we did is change the text, and this is what will appear once we're done with our mining. Cool. So our mining actions will need a trigger as well. So this will be key down, and it will be again keep at 8, just like the chess. Obviously you can change this to whatever you want, doesn't really matter. Perfect. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the canvas for canvas start is going to be disabled. We're already mining, we no longer need to see the text telling us which button to press. So that's a good start. Next up, we are going to make sure the player is in the right position. Now if you don't want to do this, if you don't do this, basically the player will just start mining wherever he is positioned at that point, and it can look really weird. That's why I'm having him move to the marker. So I'm going to do this one. Wait until he arrives before anything else starts. We don't want the animation to start and he's still gliding all over the floor. I'm going to do state here, and we're going to use an animation clip. Now this is the animation clip we download it, and let's see where that was. There we go. Really cool that he's giving a couple of them for free. I tried some from Mixamo, and well, honestly they did not work at all without heavy modification. That was not worth it. Perfect. So by default it's already set to loop, and it's already rigged to humanoid. So that's what you need in order for it to work with Game Creator, or well, most systems anyway. So that's really nice. That's already done from the start. So we're good there. Going to continue here, so we can collapse all of these. And we now need him to equip our pickaxe as well. So pickaxe, and this is a equipment right hand. There we go. We can collapse this one, and we need to change property, and the player is not controllable. We don't want you to be able to run around while mining, so it's not going to take long anyway, so we just need to make sure you stay in place. So I did disable it, right? Yeah. So we're going to add our first weight here. Going to add item, there we go. Going to be iron, let's do 2. And after those 2 seconds, we also want to make sure our first cube has become inactive. So this is basically the cycle in the start. So what we're going to do now is we're going to duplicate these. So we're going to, pasting puts them in the right order, so it's slightly easier. And here we need to make sure we change it to the next model. Going to add another weight here. And again, the next model. And the last model. Perfect. Now, if you want some UI element to appear, showing the +2 iron, you can do that in this order as well. Just make sure it works fine the first time, and then just, repeat what we're doing right now. So that's everything you need to get all of this started. Now we're going to add a small weight here just to make sure everything runs smoothly. And then we are going to reset our player. Where are you? There we go. So we're going to reset him. This way he will stop his animation, but at the same time we need to make sure we unequip, and I'm not entirely sure where that is. There we go, unequip, item, and our pickaxe. So now this needs to be unequipped. He's done with his mining action. Now if you want this to be a weapon, obviously you wouldn't use any of this, but it's not something I personally want. So we are going to make sure our player is controllable as well. Perfect. We are going to do one last thing here. So we are going to activate our depleted canvas, put a small weight in place. So let's 1 second, 2 seconds, I'm not really sure what I did the last time. Let's paste this in again and remove it. And if I'm correct, that's the entire process. Perfect. So, and yeah, just by the way, just to be clear, I'm not really entirely sure I actually mentioned this in the beginning, but obviously you need to make sure that these pictures I put in the description are actually set to sprites. I'm sure this is not the first time you've used sprite elements in the UI, but just wanted to clarify that. So make sure they're sprite and then apply. Otherwise they won't be working in any UIs. So quite a long list, but most of it is just simple repetition. Nothing really all that interesting here. Now in the end, we're going to make sure that run in the background is on and destroy after finishing. We only want this to be a one-time thing, so this is one mine item which you can, well, duplicate all over your scene if you want, but this is something you can actually deplete and it will no longer be functional at the end. So the mining actions will disappear. So once we're done, this will be destroyed, but our, well, no, nothing really, that's it. So yeah, really cool. Pretty sure that's everything. Let's give this a go and see if I missed something here. Going to disable this. Make sure this is, yeah, we should be good. So let's give this a go. Perfect. Now let's see, it's actually in our inventory. So we have our pickaxe, perfect. We have nothing here. So we're going here, press 8 to mine. So we're mining, the model is changing. Perfect, depleted. Maybe that depleted was a bit short. Now we're going to go to our inventory and we have our iron here. So we have our resources. Perfect. So that's it really. Really simple. As you can see, it mostly is animation based, so that's the real trick here. The animation just needs to match what you're doing. I did mining here, but it's simply called mining because of the mining animation and the materials we set up. If you want this to be wood chopping, just make sure you have a different type of axe and a wood chopping animation, and, well, you know, use a different model and you can literally repeat the exact same steps. So that's the really cool thing here. It's a really general resource gathering set of actions that can be used for pretty much anything you want. Now, because we're completely disabling all of these and this one doesn't actually have any colliders, we're completely done once we finish mining. So pretty cool. Hope you enjoyed this and I will see you next time.